You are listening to the FITz Cinthanie podcast. I am your host, Dr. Lauren Fitzgerald, also known as Lauren Fitz. I'm a medical doctor, a fitness instructor, an entrepreneur, a health and fitness coach, but most importantly, I am a lover of life. And here on the FITz Cinthanie podcast, I intend to give you a ton of great information and knowledge that will serve as potential power so that you can live a life by design and make it more FITz and healthy. And don't forget to listen to the disclaimer at the end. I'm not your doctor, yo. All right, enjoy the episode. Much love. Ciao. Hello and welcome to the FITz Cinthanie podcast. My name is Dr. Lauren Fitz and I am your host, and I am accompanied by my beautiful co-host Cinthanie from Cinthanie.com. What's up, girl?
What's good with you, girl?
On this Good Friday.
Yeah, it is Good Friday.
It is. I actually forgot. I woke up and of course my mom, I love my mom. The listeners will learn to realize how much respect and love I have for my mom. She is a religious woman. And of course, she sent me a Good Friday video. And my mom is one of those people that she lives what she believes. And, her actions speak for exactly what she believes. And she's just such a great person. So props to my mom.
Shout out to Mama Fitz.
So today we're going to talk about something that has nothing to do with Good Friday. Absolutely nothing to do with Good Friday. But I do want to talk about something that is really important, and it's for every single person listening to this. I don't care how old you are, what your experience is, or where you're at in your life as far as this topic goes. So it's work ethic. Okay. And, I sent you the text message earlier this week about this is what I want to talk about on Friday.
Yeah.
And I'm sure your first thought was, all right, that's cool. I mean, I asked her specifically for the listeners, because I don't know her history as far as when she started working, or if she's even really, I mean, I know obviously she has a job now, but I didn't know at what age you started working. And so it's kind of cool because definitely we're like-minded females. And the whole reason that I had this thought process of we need to talk about this is I went to lunch with a new friend of mine. And so she's cool chick, like love her to death, and getting to know her, we're asking questions about, okay, where are you from and your past experience and whatnot, and hearing that. So she was a single mom for many years. She had her oldest kid when she was 18, and shout out to the single parents, not just single moms, but single dads, because that is not an easy job.
It's a thankless job.
Yeah. Parenting in general, whether you're co-parenting, single parenting, step parenting, which we will do a whole podcast just on that. I have a unique experience with step parenting.
Yeah.
But parenting in general is obviously one of the hardest jobs ever and most thankless jobs. You, for the listeners who don't know you, Cinthanie, you are not a parent yet. You are going to be getting married. In like 6 months?
5 months.
Holy bananas. That's
I
crazy.
know. I have so much to do.
Yeah. And hopefully you won't be a parent for at least a few years after that.
Knock on wood.
Yeah, that's my advice to you. Unsolicited advice, I realize, but anyway, parenting. I don't have any of my biological kids or my own biological kids, but I was a step parent for 7 or 8 years, and so I have a unique experience. But I want to talk about work ethic today and the struggles that our culture today have with work ethic. And so I'm talking with my friend, and she remarried a few years ago, and she remarried a man who also was a divorced parent, has kids of his own. And for those listeners that aren't aware, I'm in Newport Beach, California, and that's Orange County. So if you don't know what that means that I am surrounded by entitled, wealthy people that basically try and show their kids love by showering them with everything that they can imagine and not teaching them any kind of work ethic at all. It blows my mind. Now, if you're one of these parents that your kid has a Land Rover, I'm not judging you. Yeah, I am actually. I'm judging you now.
A little bit. I'm a little bit judging
just
you.
a little bit. But it's crazy because I walk my dogs every day. I've got 2 different places that I walk my dogs, and obviously I see cars, and in Newport Beach, it's like it never ceases to amaze me, these kids that are obviously still teenagers and the kind of cars they drive. And I literally I can't judge them because I don't know what they've done to deserve it, but stereotypes are there for a reason.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing that a majority of those kids have done absolutely nothing to earn any of the niceties that they've been given in life. Right.
Yeah, sure.
And it's work ethic. It starts in our childhood. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, let me ask you. So I know what age you started your first job, but before you started your first job, were you given jobs that were not paid, like by your parents, like
chores? Well, I had chores and stuff like that. I mean, I grew up in a family with 5 other siblings.
Oh man.
So there was always something that needed to be done, and there was always a fight on who had to do it because it was so easy to place it on somebody else because there's 5 other kids to be like, no, it's her turn. But yeah, we had chores, and my dad had a cabinet shop when I was a kid. So I remember going there and like sweeping up sawdust and helping him clean that and stuff like that. So work ethic was something that was introduced to me very early as a kid.
Nice. And I too, I'm not one of 5. I've just got a younger brother, but I think a lot of it has to do with where our parents came from. And my parents have a unique background because my dad grew up really poor. My mom grew up really wealthy. And, but both of them were taught good work ethic from an early age. And so my mom wasn't the stereotype that I see here in Orange County, where I mean, literally, it's crazy when my mom tells me stories because my grandfather was an oil tycoon, and in their small town in Texas that my mom was raised in, they had a Rolls Royce at one point. I'm like, what? It's ridiculous. But I mean, my mom grew up with lots of money, and more times than not, those kind of people don't know what work ethic is because that they've just been given everything by their parents, which is not theirs. But my grandparents taught my mom good work ethic, and so when my mom and dad created their own progeny, obviously they started teaching my brother and I work ethic from the get-go. In fact, I think it surprises a lot of people because, people can be really quick to judge. I know that I have a lot of people quick to judge me on different things, including, what I've been privileged with. And yes, I definitely have a lot of privilege in my life, but I've learned how to work hard as well.
Yeah.
So my first job, did I tell you what my first job was? I told you how old I was, right?
You were 10, right?
I was 10 years old.
Dang. And I thought that I was over here like, I started working so early. No, I
beat you. Now, the 10-year-old job was my first paid job. Granted, I had jobs around the house, with chores and that kind of stuff, but I wasn't paid for it, right?
Yeah.
Just expected. And, we'll talk about that a little bit later in the show, but I was 10. My brother was 7. So he beats us all. And my dad at the time, he was vice president of a bank in Waco. And the bank had all of these repossessed homes that needed their lawn mowed. And so my dad came up with the great idea to teach my kids how hard it is to make $1. We'll have a family summer fun project and mow lawns all summer. Even
so fun.
Oh yeah, it's so fun. Heat of summer. OMG.
In Texas.
In Texas, yes.
If you have never been in Texas during summer, it is a brutal heat like nothing.
Brutal. Yeah. No, in fact, I went to lunch. This is a side note, but I went to lunch with a girl who just moved here from Austin. And Austin, anyway, I mean, if you can see me on the podcast, I have my UT Longhorn flag in the background. I'm a UT. Yep. I went to UT Austin, and I always said that I would be back there, living there one day. I haven't yet. Who knows, one day, but the idea, so she just moved here from Austin literally 2 weeks before I moved here.
Yeah.
And, we were talking about whatever, but the idea, I asked her, you think you'll ever move back? She's like, I don't know. And so I started thinking, would I ever, because if I live anywhere in Texas, it would be Austin, nowhere else. But the idea of being there for the summer, I don't know. It's like, especially after, and granted, I haven't been here for a summer in California, but everyone is like, it stays like this. And I mean, the weather is just gorgeous, and it's every freaking day. So it costs a lot to live here for a reason.
Yeah. I just can't, I mean, I can imagine, because I mean, we do yard work around here, but in the Texas summer, in the heat, it's something fierce. It really is.
So I was 10, my brother was 7, and every freaking weekend, my mom, my dad, my brother, Jeff, I call him Jeffrey, but everyone else calls him Jeff. Jeffrey and I would we had 2 lawnmowers that we'd put in the back of my dad's truck, and we would go from house to house. And sometime, like, I can't even make this up, and maybe I am making this up, but I seem to remember there were some days that we had like 12 and 13 houses to mow their lawn. Do you realize how crazy that is? Like a 10-year-old and a 7-year-old, right?
Yeah.
But dude, I so contribute that to such, like, that was a moment in my life that sculpted who I am.
Yeah.
I realized that, man, the money that that my dad works, because at the time I don't know. I don't think my mom had gone back to teaching yet, because my mom stayed home with us when we were, younger. So I guess she was already, so the money that my mom and dad were making didn't come easily.
Yeah.
But it was cool because my brother and I got paid. And at the end of the summer, we took a big family vacation to Disney World.
Oh, fun.
So not only did it teach me, how money doesn't grow on trees, and how you have to work hard to make money, but also there is benefits of working hard. And and that trip, dude, we drove from Texas to Orlando. And can I tell you how many times my dad threatened to turn around because my brother was fighting? Yeah.
Girl, imagine that with 6 kids.
Oh, I can't even. Did y'all take road trips?
Yes, we did.
How do you have cars big enough to hold you?
A Suburban.
Oh my gosh, that's insane.
Yeah, girl.
What was the longest road trip that you ever took?
As an entire family, it was from Utah to California, which I think was like 9 or 10 hours. I could totally be wrong, but it was to Disneyland.
Nice.
And it was it's there's always somebody fighting or screaming or crying, or I'll turn the car around right now. So I gotcha.
All I got to say is hell no.
All I have to say is 2 kids.
Yeah.
That's my cutoff.
Exactly.
I love my big family, but I don't know how my parents did it. 2 kids.
Man, seriously. Shout out to the people that can do the big families and not go to the funny farm.
Shout out to my parents. I don't know how they did it, but they're both still in one piece and they're both still married. So that's a big deal.
Yeah. For real.
With that many kids.
No, it's funny because, this was before even CDs were around. We had tapes, right? And my dad's company, his bank car was this Crown Victoria. It was terrible. It was this Crown Victoria. My brother and I were stuck in the back seat the whole time.
Yeah.
And we had one tape that my brother and I were allowed to listen to, and then my dad had one tape that he was allowed to listen to, and we would take turns, right? And so his tape was one of the Beach Boys. And I mean, like, I literally to this day, when I hear a Beach Boys song from that album, I can sing all of the words.
Yeah.
But our tape that my brother and I chose, I don't even know who these kids are. Crisscross. Have you heard of
Oh my gosh, yes. Yeah.
Make you jump, Mac, Dad'll make you jump.
Yeah.
Jump.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And it was so funny because every time that tape would come on, my dad would be like, I hate this rap crap. But to keep the peace on the really long drive.
You get a turn, you get a turn. Yeah.
Exactly. Jeffrey and I had to get our turn. So, but literally, I know every single song on both of those albums, like it was yesterday. And we made it to Orlando and we had a great trip. But the whole point of this story is that that summer was monumental in the sculpting of the adult that I grew into, because that was the first job of many that I had. And in fact, I've had a job nonstop since then. And so has my brother. My brother and my dad continued the mowing business. The next summer, I'm like, peace. I'm good.
Nah.
And that was actually when I started teaching dance at my dance studio. And so that was my job. And then I went on to have other jobs, like I actually got my my learner's permit. So I was able to drive, by myself at 15 because I had a job, which was really cool.
Yeah.
But I've worked nonstop since. And that has molded who I am today. I did a snap the other day, like a week ago, where I did a little, I'm a hustler, baby. I just want you to know. And I made the point. I'm like, when I say hustler, that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Right? A hustler to me is someone that sees a goal and works hard and doesn't stop until you reach that goal.
Yeah.
So okay. So rewinding back to a few days ago, I'm at lunch with my friend and she is telling me, she's like, girl, I had to show my 32-year-old stepson, which, at this point, do you even call him stepson? But it's not her kid, right? It's her husband's kid who he's got 3 grown adult kids. She's like, girl, I had to teach him how to pull weeds.
No.
I'm like, what? And not like the thought of that I just can't wrap my head around it. Right.
Yeah.
and she's telling me about her kids and how she essentially told me, she was like, my husband didn't realize how entitled and what a disservice he did for his kids by giving them everything, because he's a surgeon and a well-paid surgeon, that his kids grew up entitled, given everything, and never taught how to work.
Especially if everybody has a different love language, but especially if that's a parent's love language is giving things. That's how they express their love. It's so hard to find a balance between showing your kids that you love them and making them entitled. That's something that's really tough. And I think that's something that I attribute to growing up in such a big family, is that I was not entitled to anything because there were so many of us. So I was not entitled to anything. I saved up my own money, got my own first car. I was never entitled to anything like that.
Nice. And that's actually rare to see in a millennial, because your generation, it's one of the worst. I mean,
we get such a bad reputation, and I believe it. But I also think it's not just a generation thing, but it's just the times right now. It's people in general, because there are people that are double my age that I'm like, come on, you act worse than people my age. So I do think that my generation does have a little bit more of a stigma for that, but it's
little bit. Come on, girl.
It's not just. You know what? I speak for the millennials, the hustlers, the hustle queens of the millennial generation. They are there and kicking. They just don't have. They just don't have as big of a reputation because we're still underway. We're still underworks in what we're trying to accomplish. You know what I'm saying? So a couple years down the road, you'll take that back. You'll
no,
say,
you're
hey,
right.
millennials got it. We got it.
No, I think that's a good point. And, just yesterday I was talking to Hannah. She's got,
and Hannah is your
Hannah. So yeah, for those people that are just like, maybe this is the first time that they've ever heard the podcast, Hannah is she's my ex stepdaughter, but I hate calling her my ex stepdaughter.
She'll always be your daughter.
Exactly. So she did not come out of my hoo-ha, but I love her. Yes, I did say hoo-ha. And you don't have to beat that out, Robert, just so you know. So, but I love her like she is my biological child. And she's a sophomore, about to be finished with her sophomore year at Arizona State University. She's a great kid. And, she's in the millennial generation. And, while I'm talking about Hannah, learning, so she was basically who I was baptized by fire into parenthood. And I'm not even kidding. Baptized by fire is like understatement. So
because you came into her life like in her tween years, right?
Exactly. So her parents, she was either 9 or 10 when her parents got divorced.
Yeah.
And her dad, who's now my ex-husband, her dad and I were dating. We actually dated, which shout out to my ex-husband. He definitely did a good job of not introducing any just random women to his children before, so I was in his life a year before I even met Hannah. And so met Hannah. She definitely, I mean, I can't even imagine. Shout out to the kids that go through divorce when you're young. That's not easy to grasp your brain around the fact that your mom and dad aren't together anymore. But then another male or another female is now, a parent role in your life. Not easy. So Hannah, it was like, I remember the first time that I met her, it was like, I mean, if her eyes could have shot daggers at me, and we joke about it now, of course.
Yeah, of course.
But for the listeners who don't know, my ex-husband was an Air Force orthopedic surgeon, and they non-volunteered John to northern Japan. And Hannah had already developed this strange obsession with Japanese culture. Like, she loved sushi, she loved manga, she loved like I remember Naruto was the thing that she liked, the anime stuff. And I thought that was so strange. I'm like, that must be her generation thing. But she loved everything Japanese. And so she was at the age where she could choose if she got to live with mom or dad. And so she decided, okay, I'm going to move. And so literally I went from being just girlfriend of, her dad to I'm wife and now stepmom and stepmom who lives with this girl that's literally on the brink of puberty. Not even kidding.
Which is like the roughest. That's some rough water.
God. The struggle is real. God. And we joke about the first 6 months of our time together living in Japan. It was so not easy. And that period in a young woman's life, that happened during that 6 months as well. It was painful. But we survived, and we're still close. But the point of me bringing up Hannah was she was fighting the millennial generation of being entitled big time, because now two of her 3 parents are doctors, right? My ex-husband, orthopedic surgeon, I'm an anesthesiologist. So why shouldn't I have the latest, greatest iPhone and, the best camera and the best whatever? And I was very quick to be like, girl.
Yeah.
No, my money, his money does not equal your money.
Yeah.
You
cute, but
and it was so tough because, there were so many of our friends, I definitely, I don't think it's unfair for me to assume that out of all of her friends, we probably made the most money compared, especially when we were in Japan, surrounded by, military people, and a majority are enlisted. And without a doubt, we made more money than most families that, she's friends with. Yeah. But she always had the least things, the least toys compared to everyone. And, that was a battle that it was really tough in the first few years. And this is a message that I want for the listeners to hear, especially if you're a parent listening and you're like, I've already created a monster. I don't know where to start. Okay. It's not too late. And in fact, not only is it not too late, but it is absolutely necessary for you to choose the more difficult route, because the experience you have as a kid molds who you are as an adult.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I don't care if your kid is already, 16 or 17 years old. I mean, granted, it'd be better to start earlier, but it is not too late to start teaching your kids work ethic and work on this sense of entitlement. Right.
Yeah.
And, some of the biggest fights that I had with Hannah were getting her to understand that her entitled attitude, well, one, isn't gonna make me change my mind, which hello parents, you guys, kids, from like the moment that we can start talking, we learn how to manipulate our parents, right?
Oh, yeah. You know who to go to ask. You ask mom for these things, you ask dad for these things, because you know that mom will say no to these things and dad will say no. I totally knew how to work my parents. I knew that angle at a really young age.
Oh yeah. And shout out to my ex-husband, because he, I told him, like, if we're going to make this work, we have to be on the same team. And I know that there are a ton of parents, whether it's first marriage or second marriage, if you're not on the same page as your significant other, whether you're married or not, and and kids are involved, it creates badness.
Yes. Yeah.
And man, for those of you that are single parents that share the parenting responsibility with, your kids, mom or dad. Yeah. And if you two are not on the same page, man, that is not easy either.
Yeah.
I will give a shout out to my ex-husband's ex-wife, Hannah's mom. She has 4 children, in which she's been a single mom since they went through divorce, and it's not easy. 3 of which are triplets. They're all,
no.
You didn't know that, did you? Huh?
No, I had no idea,
dude. That's gonna be a whole nother episode. Yeah.
My mom is a twin, and supposedly that means I could have twins. So 2 kids. I told you, girl, 2 kids.
Oh hell. I'm just gonna send some positive vibes and hope that doesn't happen to you. Yeah. But I mean, those of you that are. Why is Robert saying 4?
He's got 4 kids.
Robert doesn't have 4 kids. Robert has 1 kid. Yeah, you guys in the that are listening, Robert is our podcast producer, editor, and all that kind of stuff. And so we can see him. He can talk to us, and he tries to communicate with this dry erase board, but he does it very poorly. He's shaking his head right now.
Just go and put that out there, Robert. You need a darker marker. You have like a baby blue. He's writing really fast right now. Probably a bunch of swear words.
Right. But I can't see the man bun. I can't see the man bun. It's looking really good today, dude. He's laughing.
Your work ethic shows you worked hard on that man bun.
Exactly. Okay, so here's the deal. Where do you start if you yourself has an issue with work ethic?
Well, I think we've had this conversation before, because you guys probably don't know this, but Lauren and I are both online coaches, and we are what's called success partners. So we kind of bounce business ideas back and forth off of each other, and that's kind of where our relationship started and kind of evolved into this.
Mm-hmm.
But so we've had this conversation before where I really, if I am just not where I want to be or not seeing the progress that I want to make, I really have to sit back and just remove myself emotionally from where I'm at with the situation and look at it from a standpoint, non-emotional, as if it's not me, and identify what it is that I can be doing better. I mean, I have to remove my emotions because, of course, like, just the pride in me doesn't want to admit that I'm the problem, you know, but I have to remove myself from that situation emotionally to admit this is a problem, this is what I need to do better or fix so that I have better results in my work.
So step one is acknowledging there is a problem.
Yeah.
And I think that is one of the most difficult things that we struggle with as adults set in our way.
Yeah.
Because, and we'll talk about the parenting side after we talk about those of you that are adults listening to this that want to work on yourself. But, you know, we see this often in the job that we do in health and fitness coaching. Ownership of a problem is where everything starts. And so I you know, when I have a customer, I haven't had a patient in 16 months and I'm okay with that. I don't miss that. But when I have a customer who comes to me and is like, you know, disbelieving that anything's going to work. I've tried every diet. I've tried this. I've tried that, blah, blah, blah.
I don't have support from my husband. I don't, everything.
Right.
Everything that's an outside issue except for them.
Yes. And while I will acknowledge that, yes, those struggles are real, yet, and this is where Lauren Tough Love comes in, and any of the listeners, if this is your first time to listen to me, I am known for hashtag Lauren Tough Love. And I think that tough love is not practiced enough in general, definitely not in medicine, definitely not in health and fitness coaching. But sometimes, more times than not, people just need a good smack of tough love in their face, like over and over and over again. And the excuses that we have made all usually start from our childhood, but there is a moment, and you know, is there a magical age that it happens where you have to start taking ownership? No, I don't think so. I think that adulthood, that's part of adulthood, is learning to, okay, yes, your past sculpted who you are, but it does not define you.
Yes.
And if you had a childhood of parents that showered you with anything and everything you wanted, no matter what their financial status was, because that's another thing. You don't have to grow up wealthy to be. I see this problem just as bad in the lower socioeconomic families as I do upper, because things are a status, and a parent doesn't want their kid to feel like they are less than the other kids at school. So they'll shower them with, you know, the $150 pair of shoes, or I can't believe how young kids are getting freaking iPhones. Like, it's insane.
But I didn't have my first iPhone until I was, I think, 20 years old. I didn't have my first iPhone until I moved out of my parents' house. I mean, I had a smartphone, but like I bought my first iPhone. And there would be people that are like, yeah, my kid's on their iPad at 3. I'm like, how does your kid have an iPad at 3? I don't even trust myself with an iPad, let alone a 3-year-old.
And that's its own podcast. No, it's true. In fact, it's funny because for Hannah's birthday is earlier in the year. So she turned 18 at the beginning of her senior year. And that was her 18th birthday gift. Her 18th birthday gift was an iPhone. And, you know, she even still, she fought the whole entitled mindset throughout, because where we moved to in Oklahoma after Japan, was this really, and it was known for being an uppity area, an uppity suburb of OKC called Edmond. And definitely there were a ton of entitled kids that were given any electronic device that they wanted and luxury cars. Nothing like what I see here in Orange County, though.
Yeah,
oh
for
my
sure.
Goodness.
Girl,
Lord have
Highland
mercy.
Park in Dallas.
Oh yeah.
If you ever come to Dallas, you gotta drive through Highland Park because that's where big money Dallas is, and it's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy.
But she still joked, she's like, I can't believe that I'm 18 and just getting my first iPhone. I'm like, and it wasn't because you deserve it. but it's that constant reminder of like, I don't deserve anything. I've got to work hard for it. So so you have your customer that comes in and has all these excuses, and the smack in the face of tough love. That's first step. And there are going to be some people that never have the realization that they are the problem.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that one thing that can come out of this particular podcast, the people that are listening to it or watching it on YouTube, is that you can have a moment of introspective thought of, okay, am I not reaching my goals in life because of me?
Yeah.
What am I doing in my life that's holding me back?
And if you notice in most of the podcast episodes we have done so far, where we have talked about having steps to fix something or do something, pretty much the first step every time is identify that you are the problem, which is just taking responsibility and taking control of you and not being a product of your environment, not being your circumstances, not being what happened to you. You have to identify that, yes, maybe some bad stuff happened to you as a kid and it makes you who you are now. But did you see I tried really hard not to say that?
Yes, you didn't say the S-bomb.
That's an accomplishment for me, you guys. I'm a recovering swearaholic. But if you've had some bad stuff happen to you as a kid, okay, but that was when you were a kid. You have to let that go. So like I said, just identifying that sometimes that mindset, it's something that was taught, but it's also something that you can change. And you have to identify that. So pretty much with anything we're going to tell you, you have to kind of take some time and look at you and take responsibility for your life.
Absolutely. And anytime that I have one of my own team members, one of my coaches come to me with issues, that's usually the first thing that I do is, okay, well, what is your ownership in this, and what can you do to fix the problem? Because man, I can't stand people that complain. They come to me with complaints without possible solutions.
And but what are you complaining for? Are you doing it because you want a solution, or just because you want to tell somebody about how rough it is?
Absolutely. So identifying that there's a problem, and then, okay, so you've identified what the problem is. What's the next step? The next step is starting small, because you're not going to just go from an entitled, I don't want to use the word lazy, but there are definitely a lot of people that are lazy because their work ethic, they were not taught. I mean, how do you make it to 32 years old and not know how to pull weeds? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
But what were you going to say?
I know for me, because I grew up in such a big family, yes, I was taught work ethic and stuff like that because we all needed to contribute. But something that has been tough for me is because I had 5 other siblings. Like I said earlier, it's so easy to put the responsibility on somebody else. Yes. So for me, I knew that I needed to work hard, but if I wasn't getting the results that I wanted from working hard, it's so easy for me to blame it on something else, someone else, because I couldn't do that as a kid because I had 5 other siblings to blame it on. So that's been something, even though, yes, I understand and appreciate hard work, that has been something that's been really hard for me to have to tough love with myself and be like, okay, you have to admit that this is your problem. It's not what you're blaming it on, but you have to admit that it's your problem so you can fix it. So
step 1, identifying the problem. Step 2, stop blaming other people for what's not right in your life.
Yeah.
Step 3 is taking baby steps to becoming the person that you want to be.
Yeah.
And so if that means that you start small with, like, for instance, and we'll do a podcast about daily habits of successful people, because that is definitely
that's
a topic.
such a big one.
Oh, a huge topic. But it starts with little stuff like, okay, taking ownership of, if you're the place that you live, your home, whether it's a home you own or an apartment or a condo or whatever, if the place that you live that you call your home is always a wreck, take some ownership and start doing something about it, and taking over those little things. Start making your bed. Start start with baby steps, because you're not going to change overnight. But it's a book that I'm people are going to hear me talk about all the time is The Slight Edge by Darren Hardy. It's a book that I like for my team to read or listen to, like from the get-go. I wish that I would have had someone in my life tell me to listen to it when I was in my 20s, my early 20s, because it just talks about the slight edge that you have of little things that you do daily add up to big things over time. And that concept of, if you've gotten to a point where that your work ethic is crap and you're at the point that you're at in life because you really haven't given it your all, are you going to go from being the employee that's miserable in your job to being the CEO overnight? No. But can you change that role and flip it? Absolutely. And that's the whole theme of the Fitz and Healthy podcast, is empowering people to realize that you have one life. You have one body. You have one opportunity to make this show the best show ever. There's no dress rehearsal of life. And for people that keep waiting for, maybe once I'm in my 30s, things will get better. And then
they place their happiness on the horizon. It's always something that's coming. That's when they're going to be happy. That's when they'll be healthy. And it's just, you have to do it now. You can't wait.
Absolutely. But, it's little decisions that we make today that affect tomorrow.
Yes.
And, if we're talking about, food, I want to eat this ice cream, but I know that my long-term goals of being healthy and trimming down and getting to a healthy weight and a healthy lifestyle, this doesn't help me achieve that tomorrow goal. One day at a time, it adds up. And so if you if you are one of those people that is an adult that is basically a product of not being taught good work ethic as a child, it's not too late. Have hope. Have hope.
Absolutely.
Those people that have children, start young. Start young. And our kids do what they see. And I was just listening to a podcast of one of my favorite podcasters just the other day, and he was like, you know what, every night I read, and never have I told my kids, you need to get off of the TV or the iPad and read. But it was after a year of them watching that's what dad does every night. And all of a sudden his son picked up a book, and kids do what they see their parents do.
They're sponges. Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So if you have a kid that is not helping out, guess what? It's your fault. That that Lauren Tough Love moment right there.
I'm just gonna let that soak up.
I'm gonna say it one more time. Parents that have kids that you call lazy, that you can't get them to do anything, it is your fault. That stings, right? Yep.
I'm not a parent and it still stings here.
Yep. And it's funny because obviously Hannah lived with us from 6th grade till the time she graduated high school. The triplets never lived with us, but they would come up and stay with us, a week or two at a time. And every time that they came up, they would always have chores, and they would always fight because they would have the mindset that, well, this is vacation. It's like, hey, guess what? No, this is our home, and part of living in a home is sharing it with family members, and everyone has a job. And guess what? You aren't entitled to get paid for doing those dishes, because those dishes are part of what we create as a family. And yeah, it's not easy, guys. I realize it. It's not easy, but it's so much more important. It goes beyond getting your kids to do what you want them to do. It goes to you're creating the adult that they're going to turn into. And I mean, part of our major problem in our society is just we're lazy. Everyone has this entitled sense that I deserve this, I deserve that, and I shouldn't have to work this hard.
And when I always say you are a good person and you deserve good things to happen to you, I don't mean that good things will fall out of the sky for you. No. I mean that you are deserving of working hard and getting good things.
Absolutely.
Just knowing that you have the opportunity to do that, not that it will fall out of the sky and rain magic on you.
Absolutely.
If that worked, we wouldn't have a job. Lauren and I would not be here on this podcast if that was the case. Just
Absolutely.
saying.
Absolutely. And you know, that's one thing people tell me all the time, you know, I'm like, man, you've blown up. You're all over social media and you're so successful. Hey, guess what, guys? I work can I say
buns?
Yeah. I'm not sure if the A word is beepable. So I'll just say I work my butt off. I work my butt off. And you know, I have goals. I write them down. I have daily goals. I have monthly goals. I have quarterly goals, and I have long-term goals.
Yeah.
And that will definitely go into the podcast where we talk about successful people and their habits. But work ethic. Are you the adult that is 32 and doesn't know how to pull weeds?
Yeah.
Maybe you might need to go outside and pull some weeds.
Yeah.
Like literally and figuratively.
Yeah, for sure.
And you parents that have children that don't know how to do some basic functions like pull weeds, like mow the lawn, like do the dishes, making your bed, like these kind of things, they are so much more crucial than just helping around the house.
Yeah.
They're molding the kind of adult that your child is turning into.
Yeah.
And it's not easy. It's especially if you're not starting from scratch and your kids are not tiny and they're already these entitled little, you know what, I'm not going to say the word.
Little punks.
Little punks. We're trying not to have too many beeps. But if that is who you have so far as children, it's not too late. It's not too late to make that better. Just like the parents that, you know, how do you get your kids to eat healthy? Well, guess what? It starts with you. And the last time I checked, they don't make the money to buy the groceries. They don't go to the grocery store. They don't cook. And yeah,
for sure.
But it starts with you and you as the parent, it's the most important job in the world. Let's just be straight, because the little ones are our future. I know that sounds so cheesy and cliche, but it's true. And if we keep not teaching our children how important it is to work hard, then we're all doomed.
Yeah.
We're all
Stop giving my generation a bad rep.
I know.
I hate defending us. So please, children, work hard.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that I don't sound like an idiot when I try to come to our defense. Robert wants to throw a pen at me, but he can't. No, but I mean, one of the things for me as a kid, I was never given a car when I turned 16 or anything like that. Like it just wasn't something that my parents were in a position to do at my age. My sisters both got cars. My older brother got a car, but I didn't have that. And so because my older siblings had that opportunity, I was like furious because to me, I had that sense of entitlement. Hey, like it's time for me to get a car. Like, where's my car? And I didn't get it. And because I started working full time at 17. I started working at 16 in the medical field as a dental assistant and started working full time at 17. And so I saved up my money. Saved my money. I even moved across the country and was taking public transportation. I moved from Dallas to Seattle with my now fiance, was taking public transportation, walking to work, all that kind of stuff until homegirl hustled. She did. I hustled. And I went to a car dealership.
I'm a hustler, baby.
Went to a car dealership and I was like, so I felt like I was like, I just was so on top of the world because when the guy was like, you need X amount for a down payment, I was like, oh boy, I got that. Hold up. Let me just give that to you. Yes. And I like bawled my eyes out driving home because I took so much pride in being able to have that. Yes. And I snapped about this because, last week, I just got a new car, and this one I bought. The first one I leased, and this one I bought. And I never take that for granted. Like, whenever I drive my car, I'm like, ooh, I got a car. It's my car. I don't have to walk. I'm driving somewhere. Like, I always take so much pride in that because I did that for me. And you can't give a kid that by giving them something. You can't give them that experience. And I promise you, they'll take so much better care of it when it's something that they did to earn. Kids, one thing that I see about parents and kids is when kids crack their cell phone screens and they're so mad and their parents have to replace it. Mom, you have to fix my phone. I have to have a working phone. You go pull those weeds. Pull the weeds. You pay to fix your screen. You broke it. You fix it. So pull those weeds, babies, because like I said, I know for me, I would have never taken so much pride in something that's to other people so easy to acquire. It's a car. You have to have it, right? It's a necessity. But I'm so thankful that I was mad about it at the time, but I'm so thankful now as an adult how much I appreciate that and take pride in that. Because I never would have cared. As a kid, I wouldn't have cared. No.
Girl, I can't tell you how many, like it was literally every single weekend that summer that I mowed lawns when I was 10. Mm-hmm. I hated my dad for making us do it. I mean, it was so hot. I hated every single minute of it. Yeah. I was not happy about it. And yet as an adult, I've talked about it so much. Like it was such a huge part. And so that's a great point. Parents, if your kids are always happy with you, you're probably not doing your job right. I mean,
props to my mom because I was at odds with her a lot as a kid, but it's because she stuck to her guns. She did not let me rule her. Yes. She totally stuck to her guns and played the parent. And I mean, I'm best friends. I'm best friends with my mom. That's kind of weird. Whoa. I am best friends with my mom now, but as a kid, sometimes I butt heads more with my mom than I did my dad as a kid because she stuck to her guns. She wouldn't let me rule her life, and I really wanted to.
Absolutely. And that's one thing that I see from parents all the time is that, you know, I want to make my kid happy and I get that, but that's not your job as a parent. Your job as a parent is to teach them right and wrong, teach them how to mold them into the kind of adult that will add value to society and not suck from society, and expect that our government will take care of them and that everyone else will take care of them. Guess what, guys? That's a crappy life to live, and it's going to doom us when we're old and that generation has to take care of us if we don't do something about it now.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So the whole reason that I wanted to talk about this was because I think that there are a lot of people that needed a gut check. Am I personally working hard to reach my goals, to become the best me, to accomplish the things in life that I want to? Maybe you stop dreaming about becoming that person because laziness has gotten a hold of your heart. Yeah. Or maybe that's not you, but you've got kids that are inundated with the societal norms of entitlement because man, it's not easy, but I want this podcast to give you hope that man, it's never too late to start today.
Yes.
And
come on, millennials, you can do it.
Yes,
we can change the reputation, please.
Yes. I want this podcast to help the young generation so much. I want this podcast to help everyone, obviously, but your generation, I have a huge burden on my heart for you.
And on the flip side of that, though, as a millennial, I have seen, even just in the past 5 years, how big being an entrepreneur is. I mean, there's a lot of momentum in following your dreams, which is awesome, but that's where the work ethic comes in. You can't just, again, like I said, just because you're a good person and you deserve good things to happen to you doesn't mean they'll just fall out of the sky. You still have to work for it. But it's the girl boss generation is what I call it, because we have so much opportunity to do what you want to do, be the entrepreneur and all that stuff, but you have to put the work in. There's so much opportunity, but it will only stay opportunity if you don't seize it. So you are the girl boss generation, my millennials, and boy boss. If you're a boy and you're listening, more power to you too.
We have dudes listening.
Robert's listening. Robert, you're a boy boss. But we have so much opportunity, especially us in our 20s. Please take advantage of that. Please take advantage of that.
Amen. Never has there been a time with such opportunity, for sure. All right. Well, we appreciate everyone listening to this episode of FITz and Healthy podcast. If you have not gone and subscribed, please go subscribe and leave us a review. We would love to see your reviews and get what you want to hear from us, what you liked, what you heard, and subscribe and download all the episodes, please. So, and Cinthanie, what do you want to tell them before we go?
You are a good person and you deserve good things to happen to you, but you have to work really hard.
Amen.
I'm just going to leave that there today.
All right, guys. We appreciate you so much, and we hope that you have a fit and healthy day. Ciao.
Bye.
Make sure that you find us on social media. You can find Cinthanie on Instagram and Facebook at Cinthanie. So that's CINTHANIE, and on Snapchat at Cinthanie P. And find me on social media platforms like Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, all at Club FITZ Fitness. Remember, that's FITZ Fitness. And on Snapchat, just at Club FITZ. I appreciate your time listening so much. If you enjoyed this episode of the FITZ and Healthy podcast, can you please go do me a favor and go subscribe at whatever platform that it is that you listen to podcasts. Leave a review. We read every single review, and we appreciate the time that you take to leave your thoughts and opinions. Now, also remember, while I am a medical doctor, the information I provide here is not intended to provide medical advice or a professional diagnosis, opinion, treatment, or services to you or to any other individual. I am providing general information for educational and informational purposes only, and it is not a substitute for medical or professional care. You should not use this information in place of a visit, call, consultation, or the advice of your physician or other healthcare provider. The information I share is not intended to treat, cure, or diagnose any disease or medical condition. If you believe you have a medical emergency, just call 911 immediately or your physician. Now, enough of that medical legal jargon. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. I appreciate your time. Now, go live a fit and healthy life.